As you could have guessed from the big tent ethos of the show, I worry about underdogs, undermonkeys. Like this time last year, which blockbuster was cruising while others were getting crushed. So released in the same week Venom 2 was taking heads and cashing checks, did you manage to catch a semi-gem and a precious metal? By which I mean Old Henry and Titane, or titanium in French, neither of which cracked top 10 in the US. So in this little segment I like to call Capu-chin up. Let's look at two of the little guys you should probably give a chance to when you have the chance, starting with Old Henry. Awesome tension-setting, gorgeous cinematography in a western played out in comparatively pokey spaces. Now, I got mad with Hateful Eight for squandering the widest wide Tarantino could buy on shots trapped in a cabin, but somehow the scarce turns to Wild West expanse work in this taut thriller. Due in great measure to the drama chops of handlebar moustache Tim Blake Nelson. The man's a specialist. You've seen him in Oh Brother Where Art Thou, The Ballad of Buster Scruggs, and I highly recommend Wormwood. Even though it's a small role. Incidentally, he's Balladeer and this Old Henry are the WHO-approved demarcators of Earth pre and in pandemic. Nelson delivers an excellent tightrope act of, don't force me to return to my old ways. Every tool, every weapon is just bursting with contemplation and intent. I also always love seeing Stephen Dorff make turns. He brings it in this one, and I can swear mentally shacked up Arthur Morgan and John Marston to get his voice. It's pretty darn similar. So the story is nothing new, and it's all part of an interesting recent recalibration of the cowboy, from Power of the Dog to the Sisters Brothers, Five Fingers for Marseille, Bacurau, etc., etc. Was this refiguring kicked off by No Country for Old Men? Well, that's a question for another day. Anyway, it's a solid single-serving 7 and worth your look. Also released this time last year was Julia Ducournau's Titane, a spiritual prequel to Pixar's Cars, insofar as in this movie, a lady makes love to a car twice. Talking cars have to come from somewhere, don't they? The car's right. Ugh, gross. Since I kicked it off with camera work on Old Henry, here it stands out even stronger, somehow slithering and seamlessly hitting its marks on the smallest details as your eye falls on them. Parts grueling body horror, handful of giggles, and actually pretty moving at times. A lady also carries a baby car to term in Titane. I'm not explaining. But only a year earlier, another French lady was boning a Ferris wheel. You do you, boo. But there's a wonderful dynamic between damaged adoptive father and daughter/son, both brilliantly by Vincent Lindon and Agathe Rousselle, doubling up as a sweet domestication of a serial killer type theme story. So in ways it feels a Clockwork Orange, and in others it moves with what I could only describe as a breakneck live growth of the character, like maybe Mulholland Drive. And it's similarly fluidly genre-bending, nearly as good as Parasite, but more appropriately the equally wonderfully weird Diamantino, which also tenderly deals with themes of gender transition. It's hearteningly hard-headed about believing in reforming souls and reinventing the family through thick and thin. Nothing that is human is alien to Ducournau. I'll leave you with this strange nugget that two other very similar movies that also deal with alienated women undergoing brutal change and eventually becoming metal are Annihilation and Under the Skin. Also highly recommend. Anyway, you look at this, be sure to see it. Let's say 8 out of 10 Titane was solid gold and was also buried by Venom 2. Give it a look.